Hey, Nani.
Hey,
Hey,
Nani.
Lani.
Nani who?
Nani who?
Nani who? Yes. I love it.
Yes. How are you? Well, I just saw you
Hi!
like not even an hour ago, but hey.
Literally, not 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Truly. I'm so
What did we
good. I'm
do?
so good. I
I'm so
feel
good
like
too.
in
I
a
feel like it
great
was a good
mood.
day.
Yeah, I feel like it
Me
really like
too.
put me in a good vibe. It was very good, like
Even like,
lighthearted, fun.
I agree. Even after we saw the movie, like we strolled around the city, it was like a beautiful day. I was like, this is like a perfect little MDW.
Yeah, it was a
End to the
nice.
MDW, I guess.
Yeah, it was good. Had a little
Yeah.
pizza, had a little with
A
like the
little
world's
za.
grouchiest server. I don't know what that was about, but
Yeah, that was, but you know what? He didn't break our souls,
no,
okay?
he
He
didn't.
didn't break our spirits,
No,
you know?
no, no, it was
But
worth it.
yeah, so I guess we should say where we were.
Where were we?
Where were we? Hun, we were at the movies.
Yes, we were. I'm so
We were
excited.
seeing
Finally saw
we were
Lilo and
seeing Disney's
Stitch.
Lila and Stitch.
It was so
It
good.
was really
It
good.
was
Yeah,
so good.
I cried multiple times.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I know. I was like,
And
kept like a corner of my eye looking over, and there were a
yeah,
few
same.
just
I was
like,
like,
God, someone's cutting onions in here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I got a little dust in my eye.
yeah,
What's happening?
yeah. Hunk of moussaka caught in my throat.
Yeah, that's the only good thing about the 3D glasses, is it hides the tears,
Yeah, I mean, normally I'm okay, but I was
you
wearing a
know?
beat today, so I didn't want to like be streaming. Yeah, down my face.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't hold it back, but yeah, no, there were a
Yeah,
lot of like really like touching moments, but I mean,
there were plenty.
high level, just like
High level.
what do you think? Like, what out of 10, what would you give it?
Are we saying in general or for a Disney live action?
I mean, honestly, yeah, just like as a movie, I feel like.
As a movie, I would give it like a solid, probably like a 6.8.
Yeah, like almost 7. Almost 7.
Almost 7.
Yeah.
But I think that's like pretty good. Like out of all the
Yeah.
movies that have ever been created, like I feel like that's like a solid
Yeah, like movies that I just like want to see. Like I would absolutely see it again. I would watch it again. Maybe not in
Oh,
theaters, but
absolutely.
like
I don't think
gladly
I'll
when
go to
it's on Disney
theaters.
Plus, like absolutely would just
Yes.
like throw it on. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's good. It's
100%.
good. Now of the
Out of
live
Disney live
actions, yeah.
actions, I would say I would say it's like a 9.
It's literally same. I was gonna be like, I think honestly it's
Yeah.
probably like a very solid like A, like a 9 out of 10.
I think it's a solid A. Like I think that it captured the spirit of the original
Yeah.
while making changes, obviously. There were like plenty of little tweaks here and there, but I thought,
Yeah.
and I thought going into it, I might be like, because I heard through the grapevine some changes that were gonna happen, but like, and I thought I would be like more upset about it than I was, but like in the context of the movie, I was actually like, totally fine, and I honestly I enjoyed it. I still felt like it captured the spirit and the essence of the original.
Yeah. I mean, my hot take is though, honestly, like I feel like you want some changes in the live action
Of
because I
course,
feel like the problem with not making changes is you look at the live action Lion King and it's like it was a literal shot for shot
shot for
remake and there
shot.
were not
Yeah,
enough changes that I was like, why did we even make this movie? Like, I do feel like you want for there to be some kind of like adaptation, right? Like, you want some kind
of
of,
course.
new juice in it. So, like, I thought it was good to have a little bit of fresh life breathed into her.
It was nice and juicy,
It
juicy
was
baba.
juicy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
loved
good.
it.
I loved it
It was
so
really
much.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I prefer it to from the to like you just said, as opposed to like a shot for shot recreation, which honestly I really thought it was going to be based on the trailer. I'm glad like that they made like the changes that they did. Obviously there were like a few things that I wasn't like truly like all about as far as like the changes to the characters, but overall, like to the main like storyline and to like the main characters, the changes that they made with like Nani and like Lilo and like their storyline, I was all about it. I was really like here for it.
Yeah.
I loved.
Yeah.
It felt modernized and fresh and like I don't know, I think it like it gave the characters more depth and that's what you wanted about a live action, I think.
Yeah. I agree. It's interesting you say modernized because one thing that I like grabbed hold of from watching it, and I was curious going into it, was like, are they going to make it contemporary to like the animated where it's going to be like in 2000 or 2001 or whenever it came out? Or is it
Mhm.
going to be contemporary to today, i.e., are there going to be
Yeah,
iPhones? There were phones in it, but very minimally.
and there were.
And they just did some like
Minimal.
very subtle, like it didn't feel like it was so like right now where it's like it would be dated in 5 minutes, but like there were just brief little glimpses of like you saw an iPhone here and there. They took selfies at one point. Lilo references, she says, oh, I read her text messages, which I think in the animated she says I
Yeah,
read her
instead of her
diary.
diary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like in general it was
Exactly.
like just little things. It wasn't so updated where it was just like I don't know, I like it felt like dumb.
I agree. I thought it was really cute, and again, it made me cry. It hit on, like, the emotional beats that I feel like
Absolutely.
the original did for me, and honestly, perhaps more so for me. Like, in the original, I think there's, like, 2 or 3 moments that really, like, tug on the heartstrings a little bit, but, like, in this movie, I felt like there were, like, 3 or 4 where I was like, "Oh, damn, that's really it's touching."
Yep, it's a tearjerker.
It's really something.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end,
Yeah.
I mean, there
Oh
were,
my
like,
god.
lots of changes to the end.
Yeah. I would say that's probably the single
Yeah.
biggest, like, at least like plot related change is like the kind of the ending in general. The last like 15-20 minutes or so is very different, I would say. Like,
I
there are some
agree.
character changes, of course, and like bits and bobs here and there, but I would say like the ending is pretty much completely different.
It is completely different, but again, I think it was completely different, but, like, still held the essence of, like, the original. I think, like, it might have been weird if they, like, kept the original
Yeah, I think it
in a
was
live action.
successful still, even though it was different. You know, it was
Yeah,
true
yeah.
to that film that they were making. It's something I feel like a big thing, and I've been thinking about this a little bit from like when they first showed us like the images and the trailer and everything, like years ago at this point. And I feel like something that also made it really successful, I'm trying to figure out how to articulate this, is like the character design of Stitch specifically, like to translate that to live action. It's interesting because like he has such a specific image in the animated version. And
Mhm.
it's they basically just made the animated character look like three-dimensional rather than be like, oh,
Yeah,
he's literally gonna be like a blue French bulldog. Like
and, like,
again,
super, like, live action-y.
exactly. Same thing as The
Yeah,
Lion King, where it's like, and
exactly.
these are just literal real animals. It's like, no, they brought enough like facial expression and like
I
characterization,
agree.
and it felt animated still almost, but in like a live action world. And I think that's part of like what made it
Made it
successful.
successful. I literally had this conversation, driving home with Rod about that. Like, I was like, there were like moments where I was like, "Oh, this is like so CGI," but like, I'm happy that it was. Like, I'm glad that it wasn't like super, super like it felt real because it would have like I don't know. Yeah, like I don't want to just see like obviously Stitch is not like a lion or anything, but like I don't know. I prefer being able to see like emotions in facial expressions with like over the top animations than like have everything like muted back because it's supposed to be like more realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep, I agree 100%. Again, like I not to just keep like, dumping on the Lion King, but honestly like I do feel like that was a setback. Like you want to see these
Yeah.
characterizations. They put so much effort into the character design of these non-human faces, and they're really successful in the animated Lion King. You love to be able to see the contrast between Mufasa and Scar and then later Simba and Scar, and like part of what makes Stitch so adorable in the animated version is he has this huge, like Joker like grin and,
Yeah. Like
those
a crazy
gigantic ears.
mouth.
And to see that translated into quote unquote live action, basically them just turning that animated character into like 3 dimensions. I'm like, yeah, like that was adorable. Like,
Yeah.
and it
And
was
he was
also funny
freaking
that they like,
adorable. Like I was
oh my God, like
he
literally
was
crying the
so
whole time. I was
cute.
like, that was my doggy.
Yeah,
He
he
reminded
looks
me of
just
my
like
dog so much.
Brucey. He literally looked just like Bruce. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, and of
Yeah.
course, like both of us are, pet owners. I was literally like, this is literally all three of my animals.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God. Yeah, truly. Like, if you are a pet parent and you see this movie, you are going to be like, ooh, like, especially if you have like
and
a bad animal.
yeah, yes. And I saw like, I mean, I saw a critique about the movie that like they leaned too much into the fact that he was like a dog, basically, like instead of him
Is that
being an
not literally
alien. But
what the
like,
movie is, though? That's what the whole plot is.
Yeah, I saw some critique about that, like, they were like, "They're really leaning into, like, the pet, like, angle," and I was like, "Well, it works." Like,
I don't
most
even
people
think
aren't
any
pet
more
owners,
than
like
like the animated though, than the original version.
yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. I watched the animated version last night, and I agree, like, he is supposed to be a dog pretty much the whole movie.
That's the story.
Like,
Yeah,
he's
like
pretending to be a dog.
yeah. I will say that part specifically though. Oh my god, I loved it when they're surfing and then they show literally a black and white Frenchie exactly like Brucey on the surfboard, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, it was so
Your
cute. But
baby.
also, like, it was cool to see them acknowledge that, like, yeah, he's based on a French bulldog. But also, honestly, it kind of brings that point home is that it's like, he's not actually a dog. He does not look
He's
like a
not.
dog. This is a real dog. This is not him. I thought it was cool. It was a cool way to, like,
I thought it
acknowledge
was
that.
really cute. Yeah, I mean, the other aliens in general, like, I feel like the animation was definitely the strongest on Stitch as far as like the CGI goes.
Yeah.
Like, they stayed true, I would say, to like most of the aliens from the original. Obviously, the big changes were with like Pleakley and Jabba, which that is like really my only critique of the movie is like the changes to Jabba specifically,
Hmm.
and not giving him a Russian accent. That was the only thing that I was like, damn, I really do miss that. And it was shocking to me because Zach Galifianakis is like a very like over the top like kind of personality, a comedian, but I felt like they didn't like use him to his full potential, which like for me felt like a little lackluster. That was my only like critique of the entire movie really. Like that was the only thing that there were times where I was like I just wish they were doing a little bit more with that.
Yeah, I think that, and I think that's like a very fair and constructive criticism, which is just that, like, you could have used him better and like his talents more because he is hilarious.
Totally. He's so funny.
Yeah, I do think I agree with you about the character design too. I'm like something about the way that he translated was a little freaky. The nose we
Yeah.
were talking about immediately
The
afterwards. We're like,
nose was a little
oi.
weird.
Because
But I mean,
isn't in the
hey, he's
cartoon, isn't it like purple or something? Like, why was it like pink like a pig? I was like, I don't need like a flesh tone pig nose on him. It's kind of creepy. Like,
I think it was the same color in the original, but I think like it was just like a circle, like a big giant like clown nose in the
yeah,
original, you know what I mean? Like translating that to live action, they really went in with that nose. I'm not really sure why
yeah,
they
I
were
was
like
like,
we're going to make this very detailed.
I do feel like though them kind of making him a little bit not evil, but like a little bit more of an, I guess, antagonist character was
Yeah,
part of it was making him a little bit like less cute. Like he was kind of like, icky looking. Like
true. That's fair.
you know,
Yeah, so they like basically combined his character and like that big giant whale
yeah.
other
A
he
whale.
was who's actually like the main antagonist of the original.
Right.
They combined him and Jabba's character into one,
Yeah.
which for me, like it made sense in a live action format. I think if they added an additional like antagonist, it would have been probably too much
Yeah.
in the context of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Um let's talk about some of the things that like really stood out to you as like big successes that you just like loved about it. What were some like faves?
I thought the opening number, well, okay, so the music itself obviously is so iconic
Yeah.
from the original animated, like it's really just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like all of like the scenes with the music, like the surfing scene,
Mm.
loved it. That was another moment that I like got emotional. I was like I don't even know why, but it was just like really a great
Yeah, it's
scene.
just beautiful. It's just a great sequence.
Yeah, and like the opening number when Lilo is like basically diving with the fish, she like feeds the sandwich to the fish just like in the animated, and then she is late to the hula
Yeah.
performance, and then she gets in and like she pushes that girl, but like that whole opening sequence showing Lilo and like introducing her, I thought was like so perfect.
Yeah.
It was great.
Great world
I
building for
I think
sure.
like probably the biggest success of the movie was the casting of Lilo, and honestly Nani too. I thought Nani was great,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought like the casting of Lilo, like they hit a home run. She was like she embodied that character so well in my opinion. I thought it was like 10 out of 10
Yeah,
perfection.
she was excellent.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I loved her. I think that the music was another standout. I think we were talking about it afterwards, like, all the iconic songs that, Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, like them, they
Hmm.
just pumped it up a little bit, it was just, which
Yeah,
again
they
is
like
like what
amplified it a
you
little bit.
want for
What's
a
what you
live
want?
action, it's like,
Yeah,
it's not exactly the same, but it's just, they turned it up, which I thought was really good. I thought it was really visually pretty. I think they did a nice job of
appealing.
like showing the world of Lilo and Stitch. And again, it was
Yeah,
not a shot for shot remake, but what they did do was similar to how they nailed the emotional beats. I think they nailed like the iconic images that you want to get out of the movie too. Like some of
yeah,
the
like their house. I thought they hit
the
the nail on the
fish
head with their
lamp that like
house.
I remember specifically that animated like lamp that's on our bedside that's like a fish or whatever, that they have like one of those in this whole bit with like him being a record player, the guy with the ice cream cone
So
falling
cute.
multiple times, like all of those things they brought back, but like in the live action
Like
it was cool.
Elvis.
Yeah, but
Elvis being
literally
such a
in
big
the
role in it
credits
was
with
great.
like
Like
Stitch in the Elvis costume, like all
so
that,
cute.
so good. Yeah, so I loved that. I felt like those were really successful. And then honestly, like we were talking about it afterwards, it's a change from the animated that I think some people are not into, but I thought was great, which was that I really feel like they gave Nani like a more well-rounded and developed character and more to do. I feel like in the animated, she's kind of like she's just like struggling because she's like a teenager and she has like a crush on David, and like that's kind of really all they give her. But in this one, it's like she's super talented as a surf instructor and she wants to
Super
go to
smart,
marine
super
biology
talented. Yeah.
school, and like she wants to go away to college and she has her own dreams and ambitions that she put on hold for this. And like I think that them fleshing her out a little bit more made it more
Was
complex and
successful.
nuanced
I
and
agree.
gave raised the stakes a little bit more. Like I loved it. I thought it was great choice on their.
I I completely agree. And like that was a thing, a change that I heard prior to going into the movie, and I was nervous about it, uh, based on like the critics and literally mainly Grace Randolph, who I usually really trust her, critiques so much. I feel like this is really the first one where I'm like, I actually disagree completely with her. This is really the first movie that I've been in that boat, but she was like really disappointed with that change and the fact that like at the end she goes off to college and pursues her own dreams. But like at the same time, there were so many other aspects of the storyline that were added to the live action that allowed this to like make sense and honestly like feel better than I think like the ending that she just like that they just like allow her to be the caretaker of Lilo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they added like way more nuance and way more like, there were additional characters like their neighbor. I mean, I just thought it like made more sense, honestly.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I tried to like avoid spoilers, not in an aggressive way, but I was like, I'm not going to seek any
Yeah,
information out beforehand. But, whatever. People have been talking about it. It's been out for a few days.
it
Previews have
pops
been
up.
happening. And I saw people, obviously, for clicks and engagement, like oversimplifying it and being like, oh my God, I can't believe Nani just like gives her up at the end. I'm like, that's not what
Yeah,
happens. Like,
that's
that's
literally not what
literally not what
happens at all.
happens. Like, I'm like,
No, like
effectively,
there's
what
so much
happens
more
is
to it.
literally like she goes away to college and like their next door neighbor, who was basically like already her auntie anyway, just like takes her in.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, they're
end.
like family. They're literally like family already.
Which again,
And
they
they live
say
next
many
door.
times in the movie. She literally says like, "I'm not just your neighbor. We're
Ohana.
Ohana." Like it's a whole
Yeah.
thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
so whatever. People are being stupid online on purpose. Obviously, what
People are
else is
being
new? But
stupid. Yeah.
being dense for clicks, yeah, shocking.
And honestly, like I do like I think this is like Nani's chance to be a better caretaker. She's like going to pursue like something that she could be really successful at. And honestly, like give her what she needs more so in like life as an adult to be able to provide
Yeah, and
for Lilo in the
also,
future,
what
her house.
example are you setting for like your baby sister who looks up to you if you say like, "Oh no, you shouldn't follow your dreams. You shouldn't try and like pursue something that you're talented at and that you want to do." Like she
Yeah,
should go do those things. It's setting a good example for
she
Lilo
should.
too. So it's like, whatever. Period. I think that it was the right choice, and I
Yes.
think it was.
I think that in the animated version, the ending made sense. I think in a live action version, this ending made sense.
100%.
And I still feel like the ending still felt the same as like the original, even
Yeah,
though
like
like
the
it was like
emotional.
technically different.
Yeah.
The emotional was still there. Like again, like they had like the teleporter, which allowed Nani to like literally come visit Lilo whenever she wanted. They were FaceTiming. They were, they were like, yeah. It showed that like she was still very much present. She was not leaving Lilo in the dust.
Exactly, 100%. I thought that was like very cute that they did that. Also, side note, we were talking about it afterwards, but that part killed me. Also, a shot for shot remake from the animated version where they're like, "How good is his hearing?" And he just goes, "Wow," and whips his head like completely around.
Yeah,
It's
when we
so
were
funny.
that was like I actually forgot about that part. But when me and Rod were watching it last night, like that was the part that he was like, we need to rewind that.
Yeah.
That's like his favorite part because it's literally like our dog Bishop.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so
how
funny.
good is his hearing? And then he just like turns and you see him in the infrared light.
Yeah, his
It's
eyes.
just like his
yeah.
eyes glowing. He
So
looks
good.
demonic.
And it's literally just like 2 frames. It's like facing that way, facing that way. You don't even
And then
see
he's
his
like,
head
"Ooh."
spin. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a complete
It's so
180.
good.
It's so funny.
Cute.
I'm like, but that's so good because that really is like relatable to people. Because like you just said that you're like, that's your dog, that's my dog. Like cats do that. Like it's such a like pets do that. They're literally just like they're asleep. Look at them sleeping, and then immediately like so.
Well, yeah, like literally, I was telling you, we just got a litter robot. Honey, these cats are obsessed with it. One was unsure, one is literally obsessed with it. She wants to be in it all the time. So every time she hears it spinning, she could be asleep. If she hears it start to spin, she runs over to it and sticks her head in the hole. And she's like,
"Yep, how good is
like,
its
wow,
hearing?"
she has really good hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so cute. I love
crazy.
that whole
so
sequence
cute.
was really good. What about David? What did you think about our David? I feel like
I thought David was good.
Yeah.
I think he was a little more airheaded in this movie.
Mhm.
Although he's airheaded in the animated too, but like I think he was like a little even more
Yeah,
so
they made him like goofier
in the live
I think.
action. They made him a little goofier.
Yeah.
Which I didn't mind. And he was like, they made basically their neighbor. I didn't know. I don't think they were neighbors in the animated, were they?
I'm
Probably
not sure. It's a little unclear, but it's one of those things
yeah,
where it's like in a live action, they sort of just have to for function to be like, well, how else can they be in the same room and like same environment and see each other so often? Yeah.
Yeah, they're neighbors. So they gave him a mom, and that's spoiler who ends up looking after Lilo at the end is like David and his mother.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted was for him to have the sexy like hair, the like part.
I agree. That was my only critique. I thought he was cute.
He was cute. Yeah, he looked great. No complaints there. Does she say? I was trying to remember. You watched it. I was like, does she? Because I feel like she says something about his hair in the animated. She's like, she likes your hair, and this one she says she likes your butt.
She says, yeah. She said in her diary that she likes your butt and your cute hair or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, see, so I'm like not just making that up though, right? Like the hair is like a part. It's not just the character design. They do say that like she likes this swoopy,
the
like
Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
like 90s like center part with the like bangs.
90s center part, yeah. It's a good hair. It's good hair.
It is good.
It's kind of like yours right now, literally.
David,
a little bit.
Yeah, he was cutie though.
Yeah, he was.
So elephant in the room that we haven't discussed yet, and this can kind of go multiple directions, but like let's talk about the Pleakley of it all because there's been a lot of discourse online. I feel like we had our own opinions about it afterwards. So much to say. Where to even begin?
I think Pleakley to me was not as like bothersome as Jabba. Like, I think him translated to the live action. Like, I forget, I don't know who the actor's name is, but
did you clock that? He is the prince from.
Yeah, he's the prince from Aladdin. Like, he's been in a lot of. He's like an under the radar actor, but he's also like in everything. And I can't remember his name, but he's like, I really like him as an actor. I think he did Pleakley like fine. I thought it was like pretty well done. Obviously, like, if he was told he can't be in drag, it's not like the actor's fault. But like, I don't know. To me, it made sense that they had to turn into humans instead of dress as like put on like cartoon disguises. You know what I mean? It made sense in the context of a live action that they like had to.
Yeah, because it's hard to like do the Bugs Bunny thing of like, and then they just throw a hat on and you like suspend disbelief that they're not an alien. It's like, come on. Like,
it's like, yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
So I thought that like it made sense. They handled it well. And like, they like lightly gave him a little bit of feminine clothing to like show that he was definitely a little bit more femmy. which was like, I mean, I think I don't know. I think they could have maybe pushed it a little farther. I saw people really freaking out over like Disney, like, queer baiting and stuff over all of this. And like, I don't think it was that deep for me. And that's coming from a gay person. I didn't think it was like offensive.
Right. And
I don't
our
know.
opinions
What do you
as
think?
gay people are superior. I mean, by the time you're listening to this, it
Period.
could be Pride Month. So, like, it's actually illegal to disagree with a gay person during Pride Month. So, jot that down.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I think that the animated version of Pleakley has gotten a lot of love lately, and if anything, just like the bringing the live action to light and like, having this movie out right now, like I think I don't know, it's brought a lot of attention to like that character, and I think like a lot of people didn't even realize that like, oh no, he was like a drag queen basically. Like, you know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah.
he was like gender bending. Like nobody I don't think like back when the original animation was released, like people even like thought that far about it, or
Yeah.
like that was like actually progressive for the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, to be honest, I invoked Bugs Bunny. I said that on purpose because I'm like, that's what it is. I mean, that's true, like old school animated, like these like slapstick, like drag in cartoon, like for comedic effect. I mean, that's like what Pleakley was. Like, that's fully what the
Yeah.
character was like trying to give, the imagery and everything. I feel like, yeah, I first of all, I was not bothered or offended by it at all. I didn't view it as baiting whatsoever. I actually felt like there were some pretty like clever ways of them like inferring it without hitting you over the face with it. One of the ways I noticed is like when they first crash land and they're like scanning for people who they're gonna like copy their likeness of. It shows them multiple like couples, like male female couples,
Yeah.
being like, oh this one,
Yeah.
oh this one, oh this one, like,
They're like, no, no.
but I'm like, they're implying that it's like, oh yeah, maybe that, maybe this one. Like they're opening the door
Sure.
to it. They're sort of like, teasing that that could be a thing. And then yeah, I mean, he fully is wearing like, women's clothes like multiple times in the thing. Just because he's not wearing literally like
Yeah.
a red
A
like
dress and like
wig,
a wig.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
lipstick doesn't mean that he's not like giving. I mean, multiple outfits. The first outfit that he wears as like a human is literally like a blouse, honey. He's wearing like a tunic,
He's wearing
like,
like a lot of mesh too.
yeah,
Like
and then
he's
he
like
wears
wearing
like
like
the mesh
a
top. He
mesh
has like a
shirt
cute
with like
little
a big flower on
beret.
it. Yeah.
Later on, he
Yeah.
has like, I mean, there are multiple places in that where he's giving like,
He's giving femme.
yes, femme, definitely sort of like, I don't know, gender fluid, like expansive. So I'm like, I don't really feel like it did not bother me whatsoever. I mean, is there, what I would have wanted? My minor critique is like similar to how you said about like Zach Galifianakis, where it's like he's funny. I just wish they used him more. The only thing I would want is like if they had some way where they could give us literally like a single shot that was like a recreation of the iconic Pleakley look with like the red wig, the
Agreed.
sun hat, like whatever.
Agreed.
I'm like, just show us one scene in like the hotel when they're in that hotel room of
Like if
him
he was
like
like
trying on
trying on wigs or
outfits, and it's
something.
like
Yeah,
one
like
image of like, oh, and there it is. Okay. And
yes. Yes. I think like if they had just put like one sequence, you're right, like of just him like trying on bobs or something, like that would have made a world of
yeah, it
difference. I
doesn't need to
agree.
spend the whole movie like in drag, fine, but
In
like
drag.
2 seconds
Yeah.
of like, this, what do you think about this? I don't know, whatever, hurry up, we have to go, and then like move on. Like something
Yeah.
that very
Yeah.
easily Disney could have like cut for the international markets if they were worried about it. But like, I
Exactly.
feel like they could have very easily included literally like 1 2 second shot, and I would have been like, perfect, fine, there you go.
Yeah, like instead of him being in the bathtub, which I also thought was an interesting choice, I feel like that was like I don't know what that was like saying, like that bathtubs are like more femmy. I don't know. Like
And
that
he
was
had the
because he was
shower
like,
cap on and was
yeah, he had
like,
like the shower cap. He was like really feeling it.
yeah.
I don't know. But like
Yeah.
if they could have incorporated that into like that hotel scene, I think it would have been perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like, again, they showed in lots of like kind of not so in your face ways, like subtler ways to kind of give that, which again, I also feel like, I mean, yes, we're in a different time now, but like that does feel pretty true to Disney. I mean, none of the Disney villains are ever like explicitly queer or gay. Not that Pleakley's a villain,
Hmm.
but characters, I guess, broadly. But like they do a lot of like coding to indicate that. I mean, look at all of your classic Disney Renaissance villains, characters that are like queer coded. I'm like, I feel like they stayed true to that with Pleakley. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they gave that in this. Like,
I agree. I agree. I do think like of course people want them to like outwardly go there. And I think they've tried it in the past with Lightyear. That movie tanked.
Yeah.
I think, like, for me, I think it would need to be like an authentic, like, original story where they like for them to like finally like have an openly LGBTQ character. Like I don't know, like I don't think a reimagining or recreation of like an OG movie it's not necessarily like the best place to do it, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, like with Pleakley, I think there were like simple ways that they could have just expanded a little tiny bit more, but not pushed it.
Yeah. Um,
Anyway.
I would love to know, kind of like broadening out beyond us, then sort of like what the reception is that's been out there in the world. I know you were referencing earlier, you've watched some of your favorite creators talk about it. We were talking before this about
Yeah.
like the feedback, like the critics and audience scores online and everything. It's been doing well at the box office already. It seems like it's crushing it. So, like, much to discuss.
I mean, it already made over the budget. Like I think the budget was like 120 million or something, and it already surpassed that within like the first 24 hours. So it already is
Incredible.
like making money.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, it's gonna be $1 billion movie. I could easily see this. It's an easy $1 billion for Disney.
They needed it,
Yeah.
honey. They needed a win.
They needed it.
They needed a
They
win.
needed a win.
Especially after Snow White, okay?
Ugh, yeah. Horror.
Still not over it.
But for me, like I was just so happy. Like it made me feel again. Like, it made me like have the feelings and like gave me hope for Disney Studios.
Yeah.
Maybe they can pull it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like the critiques go, I mean, like I said, Grace, I'm totally aligned with her views, but she absolutely hated this movie. I think like her biggest critique was like some of like the original messaging, like with the ugly duckling story. There was like that whole book where Stitch reads the ugly duckling and like, it's showing that he feels like he doesn't fit in. So they like took away aspects of like Stitch's storyline, which people I think were upset over. But in the context of a live action, like I do want to learn more about like the live action characters, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like I still felt like I got enough of Stitch. I don't know about you, but I felt fine.
Yeah, I mean, just because they didn't show him reading the Ugly Duckling book doesn't mean that his character doesn't like have like an arc or a journey. I mean, he watches their family get split up. He says to Lilo, like, Stitch broke your family, and then he like takes himself back. I'm like getting emotional talking about it. He like takes himself back to the dog shelter and like curls up in the little cage, and I was like, oh my god, he's so sad and remorseful. Literally, I was like, that's like Brucey when he has an accident and he's like, I'm sorry, Daddy. So I'm like,
help it.
exactly.
He can't help
I'm
that
like,
he's bad.
just because
He's
you do
not bad,
bad
he just
things,
does bad things.
yeah, it doesn't mean that you're bad.
Doesn't mean he's
like,
bad.
I don't know. I feel like they still gave you plenty of like character development and like arc in him without him literally like reading a picture book, like for you to get it. So I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I saw a couple other like critics that liked it, which I was surprised to see that they liked it.
Yeah.
So I think it like kind of went both ways. And I saw a creator that I really didn't trust their opinion because they loved Snow White, or so they said, and they like loved Lilo and Stitch, and they were part of the LGBTQ community. So I was like, is he getting paid to say that he loved it?
Interesting.
And now I believe him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting not to keep invoking Snow White too, but I'm like, honestly, I feel like you said it perfectly where you were like, well, Stitch just made me feel things. I'm like, I felt nothing from Snow White. No emotional connection.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing compelling about the storyline, no rooting for any one character or anything to happen, no specific outcome. There was no satisfying, like, I'm so glad this happened. I'm so glad that no stakes, like, no, literally nothing. I felt nothing. I mean, except like anger and annoyance of being like, I can't believe I just sat through that garbage. But like, honestly, but truly, but like Lilo and Stitch, like emotional beats, like character development, story, like, and I am the first one to tell you, like, hello, look at my background. I'm a Disney princess girly. I love and connect with these stories, and I've said several times in this episode and to you off camera, like, I'm not really a Lilo and Stitch girl. I didn't grow up loving it. Like, I feel like I just missed the boat on that with my age, which is old. So like, I feel like
he's so old.
Yeah, but seriously, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, that to me really says so much. I'm like, they hit the emotional beats that they needed to hit. And I think that that's what's going to
Yeah.
make this a $1 billion movie, is that like kids,
Agreed.
young and old, families like are going to want to go see this. People who love the first one, I think, are going to love this. Like little kids now who don't know anything about the animated one are going to love this. Like I think that it really scratches that itch of nostalgia in a really like sweet way. I think like the merchandising opportunities, as if Stitch hasn't just like taken over Disney World already anyway, but like
I mean, and Primark, we literally like walked through Primark
Honey.
after the movies because it's like connected to the movie theater, and hey, Stitch is everywhere.
He's in there, honey.
Yeah, Disney made like I think 2.6 million on Stitch merch alone last year, so
Wild.
I'm sure they are going to
ride that train till the wheels fall off, honey.
Oh yeah, Stitch is going to be everywhere for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Something else, by the way, we haven't really touched on, maybe we did a while ago, but something I love, and honestly, it was one of the first indications to me that this was going to be a success before we ever even saw a teaser, was once they started to market this movie the same way they marketed the first one, where they were showing Stitch like running into like trailers of other movies or like wrecking, you know, posters of like old whatevers. I was like, okay, they're really trying to like go all in on that.
Really
like,
leaning in.
Yeah, and I was like, this is smart. This is good. This is good. Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Smart. Yeah. Really solid. Whoever was in charge of this, like their production team here, whatever was going on at the studios there, I'm like, bring more of that. Okay. Do that. Bring that back. So like whatever we're giving with the next, you know, if we're like, so help me God, please be in charge of the Hercules live action. Please be in charge of the Tangled live action. Like bring some of that. I'm like, what you need to do, I feel like, is like, take whatever the special sauce is in that movie, that spirit that like really, you know, made it a success, and then like do that. Okay. Tell the same story, but like give us some modern updates that we actually want, hit those emotional beats that we need to hit, give us some of the iconic imagery that we need, but not a shot for shot recreation, you know, and like have some soul into it, like give some spirit and soul and like, you know, oomph to it. Like, and I feel like it will resonate with people, because the Snow White written by committee, that was not
it. That felt like AI wrote it. It was just so all over the place. And I think again, like I think casting is a huge part of it too. And I really do think, well, aside from Zach Galifianakis, I think like Lilo was cast perfectly. Nani was cast perfectly. I thought David was really great. So like the main characters.
And that they brought back Nani's voice actress to play the social worker, which Disney loves to do a full circle.
But that was actually cute, and it made sense.
Well done,
like
perfect.
In this movie, like I actually liked the addition of another social worker. Like in this movie, I loved it. Loved the addition.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I thought it was a real success. 2 thumbs, way up.
Toot. A real toot.
It was a toot. I love it.
It was a toot.
Well, hun. Well, let's take a little break, and then we'll be back with our favorite segment after this.
Okay, great. Okay.
And we're back.
Hey.
Well, it's that time, honey.
It's that time.
It's time for everyone's favorite recurring segment, Drink or Drag. Yes. So remind our listeners what the premise of Drink or Drag is, so that they know. We have some new listeners here, so they need to be aware.
That we pick a topic, could be parks related, could be pop culture related, and we ask the other person if they would drink to it, which means they absolutely adore it, or if they would drag it, if they hate it, drag it to hell. Yeah.
I love
so
it.
we're gonna do that.
Yes, honey.
And I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say, like, in the spirit of just kind of chit-chatting about, you know, some of the public early perceptions of the film and like some of the negativity already swirling around it, Drink or Drag to, I would say, like, social media influencers, early reviews, like them being invited to these premieres, them giving their like early opinions before the movie's even released. Like, Drink or Drag that culture, and like, do you want to hear from these people? Do you not want to hear from anybody? What, like, Drink or Drag to it? What do you think?
Yeah. Good question. I'm going to surprise you and say I'm going to drink to it. I do think that there's a lot of value in it. I appreciate it. I appreciate people, especially people who know what they're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
giving their feedback on it. And I will say, I know we were talking about Grace specifically, like in this episode and her opinions, but one thing I appreciate that she does is that she does two versions. She'll do the like spoiler free version where she just
And
sort
the
of talks
non-spoiler.
broadly. And then, like, after the movie's actually out, talk about like the details and get into the substance with spoilers. And I do think, like, I appreciate, being able to break it up. I will also say for this movie specifically, like I was saying earlier, like I didn't seek out anything because I just kind of wanted to go into this like organically and just see like what I thought about it, especially as somebody who doesn't have really like deep, precious feelings about Lilo and Stitch. I kind of just wanted to like show up clean and just like let it wash over me and like see how it felt. And I really
Yeah.
appreciated being able to do that. That said, I will also say, like, I saw plenty of reviews of Snow White before we went to see it, and I promise you they did not influence me whatsoever because even had I not seen a single review, I
It
still would have hated
sucked.
that movie. So, I mean, I think there's
Completely
value
agree.
in it. I get why the studios do it. I mean, that's just how, like, that's the media environment now.
It's the world we
Trust
live in.
their influencers and their content creators. They want to hear from them. Obviously, you and I wouldn't be sitting here yapping if we didn't think that like people cared about what we had to say too. So like I'm not going
That's
to
very
drag
true.
it. Like
That's very true.
I drink to it. I see the value of it. I understand it. You got to be able to like have your own opinions about things and also not be afraid to stand up for them. So like if Grace like really didn't care for it and she like hated it, she's standing up for what she felt about it. So good for
Yeah.
her.
I think I agree. Like I feel like for me that like one of the first things I do is look at a movie review. I think you just have to be kind of discerning and like use your brain a little bit and figure out like your opinion does not have to be exactly the same as somebody else's.
Of
Like you
course.
can have your own opinions and still respect theirs. And I think that's just kind of, the world we live in today is tough because everybody just wants you, listen to what they gotta say and they're right and whatever. But two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, and also
And I
not
think
everything is for everyone, right? Like I'm not
not
mad
everything
that
is for
other
everyone
people
also.
enjoyed Snow White. I'm like, good for you. I'm so
Good
thrilled
for
that you
you. I
found
mean,
something in there that you can enjoy. I
yeah, not
myself
me,
don't
but
love liver and
sure.
onions, but other people do, so good for you. Yeah.
But other people eat that up,
Yeah, so
so good for
bless. Yeah.
them. Bless up.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Anywho, all right. Well, that was mine.
Solid. All right, so mine is not about this film specifically, but about the larger sort of just like Lilo and Stitch franchise. And my drink or drag for you is drink or drag the Stitchification of everything, and specifically at Walt Disney World Resort, because that
I knew you
little
were gonna say
blue
something.
alien is
Yeah.
omnipresent and borderline to the same level that Mickey Mouse is. Like honestly,
Well, I would say he definitely is to the same level.
almost.
I I thought well, first of all, I thought you were specifically going to mention Stitch's Great Escape, which I was definitely going to say drag.
No.
Horror.
Arr!
Actually, it was fine, but they replaced Alien Encounter, which was like the craziest shit ever. They shouldn't have replaced it. Terrifying, but like, you know, a good ride. Sort of ride experience, whatever. I'm gonna drag it because like, and the thing that I think of like when you say Stitchification of Walt Disney World is when he TP'd the castle, and that's just like not my vibe. Don't turn it into a cake. Don't TP it. I just want to see it
Yeah.
regular, you know? If I'm
Yeah.
like paying a lot of money to go see Cinderella Castle in the Magic Kingdom,
I want to see it.
leave it alone.
Yeah. But honestly, the merch, honey, it's everywhere. Stitch is on
The
as many
merch, yeah.
things as Mickey Mouse is, if not more. And not just at Disney World. I mean, we saw ourselves, right? Like Primark always has Disney stuff. That's like one of their ongoing things. But like separate from their Disney stuff, they had a literal entire capsule that was just like Stitch X Primark. Like Stitch is, I feel like there's a lot of people that have stuff to say about this, about how like they're like positioning Stitch as like the next like co-mascot of Mickey Mouse. Like he's right there, which I'm sorry, I'm not here for. I'm like,
I mean, I'm not. I would definitely drag that, but I don't think he's gonna be like the same level. You know what I mean? Like I think it would be stupid of them not to position him like pretty high up there though, considering he sells a shit ton of merch. So like I get it from a business perspective. I don't think he'd ever be like to that level though. You know what I
Face of the
mean?
Walt
That's
Disney
crazy.
Corporation.
Yeah, like the face of the Walt Disney Corporation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
You know?
I don't know. Speaking of, I guess we'll have to see for ourselves when we're at the Walt Disney World Resort in just a couple weeks.
Disney World.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So soon.
It's happening.
I mean, really, honestly, by the time you're
soon.
listening
Can't
to
wait.
this, it's mere days away, really.
Mere days.
Yeah.
Literally 2 weeks tomorrow, I guess.
No, yesterday.
Or 2 weeks today we'll be there. 2 weeks today we'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so hyped.
So
I can't wait. It's going to be so
crazy,
fun.
crazy.
So this is a perfect
can't
plug
wait.
that if you've been listening this long, if you've been following along, if you're new here, we got some new people listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Great time to follow along on socials. Like, we're going to be doing some super fun stuff. We've been plotting and scheming what we have planned for our time at WDW, and we've got some fun things up our sleeve. So make sure you're following along on all the socials, honey, wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on
subscribe,
Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube, wherever. Yes, like, rate, review, comment, engage, follow, subscribe.
Talk with us.
Yeah, we're all here.
Chit chat.
We love it. Yeah.
Hey. Hi, how are you?
And drop some suggestions. Like, what do you want to see us do while we're there? We have our plans, but, you know, like, if anything, I know anything about this Aries, honey, she's willing to do things flying by the seat of her pants. So
It's true.
We'll take your suggestions. Throw them.
You know, I can't fight the impulses, honey. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Just looking for an adrenaline rush, okay?
Yeah. You're looking for a knuckle sandwich is what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Why I oughta. Well, on that note, until next time, this was Ears to It, and I'm Erik.
And I'm Nick.
And we'll see you real soon.
We'll see you real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do-do-do-do-do.